Mario Maker 2 is dead. Well, kind of. I mean, technically the game has stopped being supported by Nintendo. Nintendo isn't really releasing any more updates for it. However, there are the occasional, new levels in the form of ninja speedruns. However, the game is not dead at all if you take a look at its community. And that is the thesis of what I want to talk about today. I really do think that the whole Maker style of game has so much potential because humans, are naturally really creative. And if we take a look at, some of the coolest Mario Maker levels, the stuff on display is just incredible. And I really do think that if we were able to make levels for other types of games, we could just get so much cool stuff. And Nintendo has kind of flirted with this idea in the past. A couple of examples that come to mind are just, October's Mario Kart Live home circuit, which kind of allows you to make your own Mario Kart level, but it's not like its own level in the game, it's its own level in real life. And then you also got Link's Awakening from, I believe, last November or September. I think it was last September. That game had a mode where you could create your own dungeons, but you couldn't share them unless I think you could save them to an amiibo, but I don't know. It was pretty scuffed. You couldn't really make your own rooms. You had to choose from pre-select rooms. And today I just kind of want to talk about what if, Nintendo brought the Mario Maker idea, full course creation, to other series that they own. I want to talk about how cool that would be, some of the potential ideas, and what series I kind of think would fit best in this new, style. The first one I want to talk about is 2D Metroid. Now, Metroid and Castlevania together created the whole genre of games, which has really just exploded thanks to the indie boom of the past couple of years or so. I mean, seriously, there are just tons of Metroidvanias. I feel like we get another 2D Metroidvania roguelike action 2D platformer with RPG elements on the eShop every other day now. But to be fair, the format is just really engaging and fun. Metroid will always hold a special place in my and a lot of people's heart just because, it is the Nintendo franchise. It's probably the one we've played the most. It's not always been, the best. There are definitely some Metroid games that I think are overrated just because they are Metroid games, but overall the atmosphere in these titles is really phenomenal, and I think being able to make our own platforming levels within this atmosphere would be crazy. On top of that, it would allow for something that I think is a bit limited in Mario Maker 2, and that is the ability to develop an overarching theme. I think, creators do a lot within the Mario Maker 2 levels, which is awesome, but, you're always within that limit of a Mario Maker level, and now that we can make worlds in Mario Maker, that limit is a bit expanded, but with something like Metroid, you could really add like side quests, you could add crazy stuff to your own world. I mean, it would be truly unlike anything we've ever seen from Mario Maker, and that's why I think it would fit so well. Speaking of creating your own world or your own story, Legend of Zelda Maker would be phenomenal. I mean, you got obviously the 2D dungeons I already talked about earlier in Dompe's Shack in the Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening. However, that's not really as exciting as a full 2D Zelda Maker because, well, with the 2D Zelda Maker, you could create your own towns, you could create your own forests. Obviously, you could create your own dungeons, but, in theory, you could create your own story, and that's what really sets this idea apart. Zelda games have always had really interesting stories, and I feel like the ability to actually kind of convey your own story would be something sorely required if they were to ever do this sort of Zelda Maker style of game. Now, obviously, there are a couple problems with this. One, Nintendo doesn't like people being able to, input custom text and then share that text online. They've always been very conscious of the younger demographics playing their games. They don't want anyone to, say something naughty in a text box here or there. But I think, there comes a time where that just can't 100%, always be abided by, and you have stuff like, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe where you can literally, join a voice call on the Nintendo Switch Online app, or Splatoon 2 where you can, make a post, and, I mean, people could and probably have written and drawn a ton of, not safe for work stuff there, but, I mean, Nintendo at some point, they got across the line, and I feel like a Zelda Maker style of game, all the pros would outweigh the cons. Of course, you'd have some people just writing, random, not appropriate stuff, but the amount of cool worlds you could get with that would just be phenomenal. Next up, I quickly do want to talk about Mario Kart Maker because even though I guess we technically got some sort of Mario Kart Maker earlier this year in the form of Mario Kart Live Home Circuit, being able to actually make your own Mario Kart levels would be phenomenal. I mean, this has been something, the community honestly has been doing kind of with, obviously Mario Kart, custom tracks, custom track Grand Prix on the Wii. There's just a ton of, the custom track community is huge for pretty much most Mario Kart games. I just really think that if we got an official way to, make our own tracks, that would probably be the Maker game that got the most creative, because the accessibility of Mario Kart, featuring the popularity of Mario Kart, featuring just, a community that has already kind of built itself up and already has prominent course creators, just plopping that into an official version of like track creation, that would literally print money. And more importantly for, the consumer and not Nintendo, it would print really, really, really good courses. Now, this might not make a ton of sense, but stick with me here. I want to talk about Mario Party Maker. I'm not going to talk about this too much because I have a giant video on Mario Party coming out soon. It's actually the third in, the video essay 3-part series I've been working on for that game. But suffice it to say, I think Mario Party has definitely gone downhill. However, I don't think it's completely gone. And although it's, very unlikely and would probably go against the main, thesis of Mario Party, which is you can just hop right in, have fun, really no planning required. Being able to make your own Mario Party would be sick. It would allow people to create the boards of their dreams. I mean, it wouldn't be that hard considering the boards are in a 2D plane. On top of that, each spot on the board you could just kind of make it a grid-like structure. It actually wouldn't be that hard at all now that I think about it. And making your own mini games would definitely be the part that, I don't think they would allow us to do. Although technically it is possible, and they've proven that Nintendo knows how to do this, because in WarioWare DIY, I think it was, you could create your own mini games, and that remains like one of my favorite games just of all time. I think the WarioWare franchise as a whole is super underrated, but that's a rant for another day. Just gonna run through a couple of franchises that, would translate over pretty easy, and I don't really need to explain it that much. Make your own Kirby, that would just make sense. It's not, not too complicated there. Same with something like make your own Yoshi games. Donkey Kong Country could really benefit from this. Although, to be fair, considering that Donkey Kong Country is more, sprite-based rather than grid-based, it would be pretty hard to implement. I've always thought Pikmin could definitely have some sort of like make your own mission sort of thing. Although the camera angle can deviate at times, Pikmin is, generally it's essentially top down. There's not really too much variation there. So it would 100% be possible to create some sort of like Pikmin maze and maybe have people having to backtrack. You have to get a certain amount of, this color Pikmin to progress through this part, or you gotta get this, these rock Pikmin in order to defeat this boss. I think it's definitely possible. It would probably, have to come as a side mode in a potential Pikmin 4, because I don't know how many people are going out there to buy Pikmin Maker. Just something I thought I'd throw in there. With that out of the way, I covered pretty much all the series that I think, could realistically translate over, whether it's in a game. Like, I honestly do think Zelda Maker or Metroid Maker could make, well, really good standalone titles, or if it's just in a side mode in a pre-established game. Let me know what you guys think though, and let me know if you guys would be interested in these games as well. I've always been, pretty creative. I always enjoy being able to make my own levels or stuff like that, but I'm not sure if that really translates over to the general public, so let me know down in the comments. On top of that, if you enjoy this video, make sure to subscribe. I got a ton of content coming out soon. I'm just currently mad busy with school and, life stuff, but trust me, I have some crazy scripts in the works and some content that I really think you guys will enjoy. With that out of the way, I'm Thomas from the Switched Up, signing off. Peace.